Assalamu alaikum, friends. Friends, in today's video, we will tell you a heartbreaking but instructive story about an imam of a mosque who, driven by his own greed, steals money from the donation box and puts the blame on an innocent orphan child. But he forgot. Even if people don't know, Allah knows. And when Allah's punishment descends, it comes in such a way that the whole village trembles. After hearing this story, you will be shocked and realize the truth can be hidden, but not forever. So we request you to watch the video till the very end. And if this story touches your heart even a little, then please give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss more real-life stories like this one. Let's begin. Friends, in the early dawn covered in mist stood a small village of Punjab, Pakistan called Chaksa Musa. The village's main mosque was named Jamia Masjid al-Baraka. Today the crowd was much bigger than usual, but this morning was not like other days. After the Fajr prayer ended, some worshippers quietly stood outside. Some sat on the mosque veranda, staring with wide eyes toward a corner, where every day a large iron donation box used to be placed. The donation box was missing. That donation box was a symbol of faith and charity for the villagers. For the past 3 months, money had been continuously donated for the mosque dome's renovation. Some had donated after fulfilling fasts. Some gave in the name of their parents. Altogether, a large sum of money had accumulated. It was a special steel-made box secured with 2 locks, always kept closed. But today, it was gone. The mosque's senior caretaker, Imam Sahib's assistant Ghaffar Ali, and Motawali Harun Sahib were deeply worried. All the doors and windows of the mosque were intact. No signs of a break-in. It seemed as if the thief had used a key to open it. Just then, the most influential religious leader of the village, Haji Maulana Mukhtar Ahmed, stepped forward. He was once the mosque president, a symbol of dignity and piety. Always seen doing zikr, wearing thick glasses, a pure white juba, and a green shawl on his shoulder. He stood right in front of the mosque mimbar, picked up the microphone and began to speak. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Brothers, this is not just a theft. This is theft from the house of Allah. If we let this go, then Allah's wrath will descend upon us all. The one who did this is among us, someone from the mosque itself, and I think it's Ilham. Yes, that orphan boy who lives alone behind the mosque. In that moment, it was as if lightning struck everyone. One by one, all eyes turned toward the small broken hut behind the mosque. Ilham, a 17-year-old boy. He lost his father in a road accident when he was a child. 2 years later, his mother died too. Since then, he's been living alone in that little hut beside the mosque. He cleans the mosque every day. He fetches water for ablution. He helps children learn to recite the Quran. He never asks for any payment. Quiet, humble, with a soft face. That very boy is now, with a microphone in hand, being accused of theft by Haji Sahib. I've seen this boy many times, he said, standing beside the donation box. His intention was bad from the beginning. He had planned the theft all along. Immediately, some people from the mosque rushed toward that hut. They pushed open the door and dragged Ilham out in front of the mosque. He was still wearing the simple Punjabi he had put on at night. Sleep in his eyes. He stood frozen in fear, unable to understand anything. Before he could react, insults, curses, and humiliation started pouring in from all sides. Thief! Don't touch Allah's house. Looks innocent but hides a devil inside. Some spat on him, others waved their shoes at him. But Ilham stood quietly. He said nothing. In his right pocket, he was holding something tightly. It was a paper. The will his parents had left behind. which stated that before their death they had donated all their land, property, and bank balance to Al Baraka Mosque. Ilham had already handed over the entire amount under that will, but still he remained silent, because his mother had taught him, "Son, when the justice of the world becomes unjust, then the justice of the sky is the truest. Your silence will be your strength." On the other hand, Haji Sahib knew the truth, because last night when there was a storm and heavy rain in the village and there was no electricity, he had quietly opened the donation box using the spare key and taken out the money. He himself had made that secret key back when he was on the mosque committee. That night he went to a 5-star hotel in the city, and from there to a late-night club, where there was music, dancing, and he indulged himself with one woman after another. The next morning he stood in front of everyone again as the symbol of honesty, and branded Ilham as the thief. But as night deepened, strange things began to happen in Haji Sahib's house, soft whispering sounds from inside the walls, something rolling under the floor. A water bottle in the corner suddenly fell on its own. Water spilled from a cup placed on the table. A strange snake-like pattern appeared on the floor. His heart started pounding. He locked the door and lay down. But as soon as he closed his eyes, he felt something like a snake's breath falling directly on his neck. Meanwhile, rumors started spreading around the mosque, not just a theft. Some unseen punishment had begun. Snakes were being seen. By the next morning, a strange fear had spread across the village. First, a woman screamed. She had seen a snake next to her kitchen stove. Then an old woman said that she had heard something slithering under her door at night, trying to enter her house. Even 2 children got a fever out of fear, because they had seen 3 small snakes under their bed. The villagers began gathering around the mosque complex, some with shoes in hand, others with bamboo sticks. But forget catching snakes, no one had the courage to even go near. Just then news spread among everyone. Haji Sahib had not come to the mosque for prayer. This was extremely rare in the village because Haji Maulana Mukhtar Ahmed was always the first to arrive at Fajr prayer and the last to leave. His sudden absence, that too on a day when the village was so disturbed, made everyone suspicious. The local ward chairman, Malik Imtiaz Sahib, went to Haji Sahib's house with a few companions. They knocked on the door repeatedly, but there was no response from inside. Even the window shutters were locked from within. They thought for a moment, then pushed aside the small window on one side and peeked inside. Right then, they were shocked. The scene inside was terrifying. All the furniture in the room was scattered. There were stains of some liquid on the floor, thick, blackish, and with a strong foul smell. There were scratch marks on the walls. And the most horrifying, in the middle of the room lay a bunch of skins that looked exactly like shed snake skins. The chairman and his companions stepped back in fear. When news of this incident spread, people started to understand something serious had gone terribly wrong. Some said this was Allah's punishment. Others said Haji Sahib was hiding something. That very night, more strange events occurred. In Ilham's house, 2 guests were sitting. 2 mothers had come to him with their small children. There was fear in their eyes and tears on their faces. One child said, "Bhaiya, your home smells nice. It feels peaceful here. Why don't snakes come to your house?" Ilham said nothing, just gave a soft, silent smile. Then they all sat together in the candlelight, reciting the Quran. Then they made dua. But in the mosque, discomfort grew even stronger. No one would go to the mosque alone after evening. No one walked past it at night. Even the mosque's most devoted people whispered, something happened in this mosque. That night, Motawali Harun Sahib was sitting alone in the mosque office. Suddenly he saw From near the Qibla wall, a long gray snake slowly emerging. The snake slithered silently to the old wooden donation box placed under the Qibla wall, and stopped there. Its eyes were glowing red like fire. It seemed as though the snake wanted to say something, as though it wanted to show something. Motawali Harun Sahib screamed in fear and ran. He rushed to Imam Sahib's house, and that night no one entered the mosque again. The next morning something else happened. Ilham, after finishing prayer, was sitting alone in the mosque. A Quran lay open in front of him. With eyes closed, he was reciting. Suddenly, Imam Sahib came forward and asked, "Son, that file you always carry, what is it?" Ilham replied, "My parents' wish." Imam Sahib opened the document and saw. It was an official statement. "We, Arif Hossein and Rabia Begum, donate all our land, cash assets, and a residential building to Jamia Masjid al-Baraka for the sake of Allah's pleasure." It had an official notary seal, signature, and government stamp. Imam Sahib was stunned. Then, standing in front of all the mosque attendees, he announced, "The one you all called a thief. He's actually the mosque's biggest donor, and the one who falsely accused him, Haji Sahib. He was the one who stole money from the donation box." A deep silence fell upon the mosque. Many began to cry. Some held Ilham's feet, asking for forgiveness. But at that very moment, from the Qibla side of the mosque, a whispering, hissing sound began to emerge. That night became the most terrifying night in the village's history. In almost every house, something unnatural happened. Someone saw a large snake coiled outside their window. Someone else said they saw tall shadows walking over their roof, holding saris as if they were ghosts. But the most terrifying event happened in the home of Haji Maulana Mukhtar Ahmed. It was 2 a.m. Suddenly, from inside his house came a painful, raspy scream. A scream so horrible it sounded like someone was slowly being strangled with a rope, or like someone was eating his own flesh. Neighbors gathered near the door, but no one had the courage to knock, but everyone heard those strange sounds. Later, along with Mosque Motawali Harun Sahib, Chairman Sahib and two influential persons of the village opened the window of Haji Sahib's house and peeked inside. The scene was like the Day of Judgment. Haji Sahib was lying on the floor. From his mouth, large gray snakes were coming out. The snakes were crawling out from his eyes, ears, and nose, then going back inside his body. His eyes were red, his body was torn, his hands and legs were shaking. All around, snake skins, rotten, foul smell, and from his mouth, blood and foam were coming out. Chairman Sahib, terrified, screamed and stepped back. Until the next morning, no one had the courage to enter the room. But that very morning, the whole village shook again with a new revelation. The village guard and Ilham together discovered a crack beneath the old mimbar of the mosque. At first it looked small, but later it was seen to be very deep. As they dug into the soil, they found some old cloth-wrapped sacks full of cash, a few gold chains, a mobile phone, and several notebooks listing the names of donors. This was the true hiding place of the stolen mosque donations. It was immediately announced throughout the village. The donation box money had been stolen for a long time, and the one doing it was none other than Haji Sahib himself. Whenever a boy came near the mosque, he would accuse him with suspicious eyes while portraying himself as a righteous scholar. This news spread like wildfire in the village. People began to say, "Ilham is an orphan boy. He even donated his own property to the mosque. And Haji Sahib, he stole from the house of Allah." The elders of the village said, "These snakes, this fear, all are signs of divine punishment, azab. If such injustice is tolerated, Allah's wrath will surely descend." Meanwhile, Ilham became the most trusted face in the village. One by one, the parents who were planning to leave the village in fear now wanted to keep their children near Ilham, because Ilham's house was the only place where no snakes had been seen, no strange smells or sounds were heard. Some said, Allah himself is protecting this boy. He bore false accusations, kept his donation secret, took no revenge. At that time, the only respected religious scholar, Maulana Rahim Uddin Sahib, who had seen everything silently till now, finally spoke up. He said, "Tonight the old mosque mimbar will be completely demolished. From where the corruption began, we must begin the purification. And for 7 nights we will perform istighfar and tawbah, repentance." That night the tawbah gathering began. Hundreds of people gathered in front of the mosque, men, women, elders, youth, all crying with tearful eyes, asking Allah for forgiveness. But on that very first night of tawbah, from the mosque mimbar, came the melodious sound of Quran recitation, even though no one was there. The next morning, a message was found written on the mosque floor, drawn with ashes. "He who lied in my name will now feel my presence in his own body." No one knew whose writing it was or how it came. Now comes the fourth and final part of the story. On the 7th night of Tawbah, an invisible terror spread throughout the village. It was a deep night. The sky was covered in thick black clouds. Suddenly the wind became completely still. Leaves weren't shaking. There were no bird calls. Even fireflies vanished. From the northern side of the village came a sound like a cyclone, as if hundreds of snakes were tearing through the earth together. People sleeping inside their homes woke up in panic and ran to their windows. Some people saw a huge black shadow-like snake flying around in the sky, circling the entire village. And on that very night, from Haji Maulana Mukhtar Ahmed's house, the final scream was heard. When Ilham and Chairman Sahib rushed there upon hearing the news, they saw the house had collapsed. Under the fallen roof lay Haji Sahib's body, but that body was no longer human. Face down, the body looked as if it was wrapped in scorched leather. Its hands and feet were twisted, and a long, lifeless form hung outside like a split snake. The eyes were reddish yellow, but held no vision, only stared blankly at the ceiling. And on his chest sat a snake, its head shaped like a human. That snake slowly moved backward, and from Haji Sahib's body a river of blood started to flow. On the floor of the room a message was still clearly visible. "I have stolen. I have falsely accused. I have stolen from Allah's house and sold my paradise. I deceived everyone." But the final line of the writing was incomplete, because the blood had dried. After this event, the entire village froze in silence. No one had the courage to bury Haji Sahib. The village's Maulvis, imams, and elders gathered and decided he would be secretly buried in a separate place, not near the mosque. But the story doesn't end here. Days passed, months passed. Ilham himself began renovating the mosque. Using the land and money donated by his parents, he built a new mimbar, a hifz madrasa for children, and a small library where Islamic books could be read. One day, a little boy came outside the mosque and asked Ilham, "Bhaiya, can I give the adhan today?" Ilham smiled and replied, "You are the one who will begin our new beginning." That day, for the first time, the child gave adhan in the new mosque. As the adhan echoed, the darkness surrounding the village seemed to begin melting away, and at that very moment, as the sun rose in the eastern sky, someone was heard saying, "When you donate to Allah's house, it returns as light, and when you commit injustice, it returns as punishment." But no one knows why Haji Sahib's house still stands abandoned, why small wet spots still appear near the window, and why at night the sound of breath-like whispers can still be heard. "Ilham, you returned my honor, but in my silence I was lost forever." So friends, that was today's heart-touching story. Let us know in the comments section how you felt about this story. You may give this video a like, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So, we'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay well, stay safe. Allah Hafiz.